The following clips come from what appears to be an ongoing series of recordings made inside the same home. A lived-in apartment with children's drawings on the walls, toys scattered on the floor, and a security camera running through the night. According to the person behind the camera, the activity has been escalating across multiple incidents, and he's been documenting each one. In the first clip, he's decided to investigate a disturbance in the dark, despite his wife warning him not to. He gets out of bed, moves through the house with his phone as a light source, checks a wardrobe, finds nothing out of the ordinary, but the security camera feed running in the corner of the frame tells a different story. Watch.
Shh. Let me just check. It's coming from the cupboard. Could you please stop?
According to the family, the knocking had become so common that they eventually started speaking to whatever was causing it. At one point, the husband reportedly asked it politely to stop. Instead of quieting down, the knocking grew louder and more aggressive, leading some viewers to speculate that whatever was behind the sounds seemed to react to being acknowledged. Another night, the disturbances returned. Once again, he woke up to a strange noise and left bed to investigate, expecting another false alarm. Instead, he got the scare of his life. Watch.
Shit. This started again. Yalla, go to sleep now. Don't get up. It's almost the same time. Don't know.
What's harder to shake is the pattern. 2 separate nights, and now they've become so used to it, they even have a name for whatever's been in this house. They call it Jerry. And now the 5-year-old son has started asking about Jerry by name. Listen closely.
Oh my god. Ajay, क्या है ये? It's just near the door.
Daddy, what is it?
Nothing, but I'll just go to sleep now, okay?
Is that Jerry?
Shh. I don't know. Just be quiet now.
Hey.
Please, I beg you. मत जा. Don't go. Listen to me.
Just be quiet.
The scratching is unmistakable, a series of quick taps and scrapes, repeating with that uneven rhythm that's genuinely difficult to attribute to pipes or settling walls. And then the moment the father gets up to check, it stops completely. That detail alone is what gets under people's skin, because an accidental sound doesn't respond to presence. A named entity that a child has come to know casually, that scratches at a door and goes quiet the second someone moves toward it. That's a different kind of unsettling entirely. The fourth clip is silent again, and it documents something more subtle. A lamp with a black and white geometric pattern, filmed on the static security camera in the early hours of the morning, turning on and off by itself in an empty room. Watch.
I just have no words. Let me just show you the video itself. Okay.
When he went back into the room, viewers noticed what appears to be a shadowy figure moving behind him, following his path through the room before disappearing from sight. And then comes what may be the most compelling footage of all. The most extensive footage in this set captures what may be the most direct evidence yet. He's woken up in the night again, this time by the sound of the kitchen tap running. He gets up, finds the tap on, turns it off, and almost immediately hears water running again. The lights in the hallway won't turn on. He notices a child's red scooter near the door that he doesn't remember being there before he slept. And briefly, along a white wall, a faint wispy anomaly rises upward and disappears. Watch.
It's 5 minutes early today.
The security camera footage recorded earlier that same night fills in what the first-person view couldn't capture. A dark, translucent shadow figure moves across the living room, pushing the scooter, then walks away as the scooter continues rolling on its own. The figure reappears later, crossing from the hallway into the kitchen, and moments after it enters that space, the sound of the tap turning on begins. That sequence, the figure entering the kitchen, followed immediately by the water, is what a lot of viewers find most difficult to rationalize away. Some believe shadow figures of this kind represent a conscious presence, something with intent rather than residual energy, a distinction that matters because intent implies awareness of the people living there. Others point to the misplaced scooter, the unresponsive light switches, the child who already knows the ghost's name, and suggest that whatever is in this apartment has been making itself comfortable for a while. The family seems to know it. The 5-year-old isn't even scared yet, and that might be the most unnerving detail across all of these clips. Not the blurs, not the lamp, not the shadow pushing a toy across the floor, but the fact that a child has simply accepted it as part of home. Whether this is one presence or several, whether Jerry is a name given to something ancient or something entirely modern, the footage keeps coming, and whatever is in that apartment doesn't appear to be going anywhere. The following clips were both recorded inside what appears to be a large warehouse store, the kind of place that feels completely different after hours, when the shelves are still stocked, but every aisle is empty, and the only sound is the hum of the lights overhead. The man filming had been alone, locked inside a small monitoring room, watching security cameras, when he started hearing something he couldn't explain. He describes it in Spanish, something scratching the walls, coming from somewhere nearby. He insists he doesn't want these things to happen, which tells you this isn't the first time something's felt off in this building. Watch closely.
Raza, estaba yo aquí monitoreando las cámaras en un cuarto encerrado y se escuchó como si alguien estuviera rascando la pared. Ya, no, de verdad, ya no quiero que pasen estas cosas. ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Qué cojones? ¿Qué mierda fue eso?
Two sounds hit him in quick succession, a loud, forceful scraping or thudding against the wall, enough to jolt the camera, and then a sharp knock directly on the metal door. He opens it and steps out into the service corridor, then into the main store, clearly shaken, checking the restroom, checking the hallway, and finding nothing, no one. That alone is unsettling. Some viewers think the sounds are consistent with what's sometimes described as poltergeist activity, not a ghost in the traditional sense, but an energy force said to interact physically with its environment, making contact through noise and impact, rather than appearing visually. Skeptics argue it could be pipes, settling metal, or an animal in the walls, but the knock on the door is harder to dismiss, because it's rhythmic, deliberate, and comes from exactly the right height. He still doesn't have an answer when the second incident happens. This time he's out in the store aisles, pushing his own cart, voice hushed, breathing audible, saying it feels like someone is watching him. Watch.
No sé qué está pasando. Realmente se escuchan ruidos a lo lejos. Está pasando algo muy extraño, no sé qué está pasando. Se siente como si alguien me estuviera observando. No lo sé. No mames.
an empty green shopping cart, sitting completely still in the middle of an aisle stocked with bottled beverages, suddenly rolls forward and to the right on its own, quick, a few feet, then stops. He reacts immediately with a loud, genuine exclamation of shock, and the sound of his own cart wheels rolling fast on the concrete tells you he didn't stick around. What makes this harder to explain is that both events happened in the same building, within what seems like the same shift. Scratching and knocking in the locked room, then a cart moving by itself in an empty aisle. Two separate incidents, two separate forms of physical interaction, and no one else in the building. So what exactly is in that store? This next clip comes from a night investigation inside the ruins of St. Mary's Church in Colston Bassett, Nottinghamshire, a site that traces its origins back to the 12th century and has drawn paranormal investigators for decades, some of whom claim to have encountered demonic activity within its crumbling stone walls. The team is moving through the interior using a handheld camera on night vision, panning slowly across the ancient stonework, when something outside catches the frame. Watch.
Just the same as what it says at the front.
In the right-hand section of a large window opening divided by a central stone pillar, a dark vertical shape appears, moving quickly from right to left, passing behind the pillar and then simply vanishing before it clears the other side. The team insists all members were accounted for at the time. Some viewers think it's residual energy, the kind of repeating imprint that old religious sites are said to hold. Others believe it's something more aware, something that knew the camera was pointed at that window. Either way, it doesn't wait around to be identified. What exactly passed through that window frame? The following clip is about a man named Daniel Thompson, who occasionally returns to stay for a few days at the family home where he and his sister grew up. Recently, due to some accommodation issues, he's been staying there more often, and during those visits, he says he's begun noticing things in the house that he can't easily explain. According to Daniel, the strange feeling isn't entirely new. In fact, he believes something may have been present in that house since they were children. One reason he gives is his mother's unusual hobby. She has always been an avid collector, filling the house over the years with all kinds of strange antiques, dolls, puppets, and odd artifacts she picked up from flea markets, thrift stores, and estate sales. And one item in particular has always unsettled him, the dollhouse sitting in his sister's room. Daniel says that almost every time he walks past that room, he hears a faint knocking sound coming from inside. And for some reason, he's convinced the sound is coming from the dollhouse itself. Watch this. After hearing the knocking so many times, Daniel began wondering if one of the strange items his mother brought into the house years ago might have something attached to it, and considering how many eerie collectibles fill the rooms, it's not hard to see why the thought crossed his mind. In the next clip, you'll see some of the unusual items his mother has collected over the years. Take a look.
Okay, so the other thing that really creeps me out, that I do not like, but I will show you guys, is in my sister's old room, or I guess still room. Dollhouse. I don't know how to explain it. The only thing I can say that has happened with it is sometimes when I walk by, or like I go, the bathroom's back there, and I walk through and I hear like tapping coming from this room. It's like it's like yeah, it's like, I know it's coming from this room, and so I come in here, and then it usually stops, except for like maybe 3 nights ago. Like the tapping kept happening, and I came over and I was trying to figure out like where it was coming from, but it was coming from this dollhouse, and I don't know where. And it hasn't done it since. Like, why is it so intricate? It's like, freaks me out. I'm not showing you guys this again, so take one last look. Yeah. Fuck that thing.
His mother has several old dolls, puppets, and handmade figures, some of which already look unsettling even before anything strange happens. But viewers watching the footage noticed something that Daniel didn't mention right away. Toward the end of the video, just before he says, "Freaks me out," many people claim they can hear what sounds like the faint voice of a young girl somewhere in the background. And then there were the comments about one particular doll, the red one in the beginning of the clip. Several viewers said the doll had what they described as bad juju written all over it, with others pointing out the puppet beside it also looked unusually sinister. But according to Daniel, those aren't even the creepiest dolls in the house. There was one they absolutely couldn't stand while growing up. Watch this. If you look closely at the doll wearing the blue shirt and purple pants, something odd happens. For a brief moment, its eyes appear to blink. It's subtle, but once you notice it, it's difficult to unsee. Still, the most convincing moment for Daniel came after he decided to move the dollhouse out of the room. Almost immediately, the knocking sound stopped. For a while, the house became completely quiet again. But then something else happened. The knocking started again, in the room where he had moved the dollhouse, and that alone was enough to make him uneasy. Eventually, Daniel decided to spend a night at a friend's house just to get away from the place for a while. But while he was there, his phone rang. It was his mother asking if he was back home trying to scare her. Confused, he told her he was still at his friend's place, so she sent him a video recorded by the living room security camera. Watch this. In the footage, the living room appears completely empty, but after a few seconds, faint footsteps can be heard moving through the house. At first, she thought Daniel might be playing some kind of prank, but after confirming he wasn't home at all, the situation suddenly felt a lot more serious. For the first time, she started wondering if something else might actually be moving through the house, and if the sounds really were coming from whatever was inside that dollhouse, then moving it may not have solved the problem. It might have just moved the problem somewhere else. Until more updates come from Daniel and his family, all anyone can do for now is hope whatever is happening there doesn't get worse. In this next video, a team of paranormal investigators return to the Wheelhouse in London, a historic building dating all the way back to 1885. Today, the building operates as a pottery business, but according to local stories and previous investigations, the place may hold more than just clay and pottery wheels. During an earlier investigation, the team believed they had captured evidence suggesting a female spirit might be connected to the building, possibly dating back to the time of World War II. Wanting to learn more about who, or what, might still be present there, they decided to return for another night of investigation. Watch this.
The lady that wanders here that leaves the smell of a fragrance, a perfume. What was that, Phil? I heard knocking. Did you hear knocking?
I don't know.
As soon as I mentioned the lady.
While Phil, one of the investigators, is speaking about World War II and the history surrounding the area, something unusual happens. In the background, a faint whisper can be heard, quiet, but distinct enough that several viewers immediately noticed it. Listen closely.
Until after the war, when they decided that they were going to go back to what they knew best, and that was shop fitting. Now, one of the directors was a chap called George.
Hold on, Phil.
Until after the war, when they decided that they were going to go back to what they knew best, and that was shop fitting. Now, one of the directors was a chap called George.
Hold on, Phil.
In this part of the recording, a voice can be heard saying something that sounds like, "The Yankees are here." The phrase immediately caught the team's attention, because during World War II, American soldiers, often referred to as Yankees, were stationed throughout parts of the United Kingdom. Some viewers believe the voice could be connected to someone who lived through that time, perhaps replaying a moment from the past when American troops arrived in the area. Trying to get more answers, the investigators continue attempting to communicate with whatever might be present in the building, and that's when this happens.
Last time we were here, this particular area we're sat in now, we heard quite a few noises. We heard the china being moved or knocked against. Could you do that again, perhaps on... What's that?
It's the REM pod going into alarm. The temperature's gone into alarm.
Oh, I heard a chink of something as well.
Yeah, I did. Somewhere behind you on the pottery again, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Could you do that again for me, please?
Suddenly, The REM pod, a device used by investigators to detect electromagnetic disturbances, goes into alarm. According to the team, the device reacted at the same moment they felt a sudden drop in temperature in the room. Then, almost immediately afterward, a sharp sound echoes through the building, like a piece of pottery being struck or knocked over somewhere nearby. The investigators pause, waiting to see if anything else will happen. And before long, they hear something else. Watch this.
Do you want me to talk to you about the war, as you asked? If you do, could you knock maybe the pottery again or bang on the table?
Someone's walking.
I heard something then.
Just heard footsteps.
You can hear clear footsteps, as though someone is walking through the building. What makes the moment unsettling is that the investigators confirm they are completely alone inside the space. No other staff, no customers, no one else who could be walking around the pottery workshop. Yet the footsteps sound deliberate, like someone slowly moving across the floor nearby. Old buildings often carry strange sounds, shifting wood, echoing pipes, distant vibrations traveling through the structure. But moments like this still leave people wondering if something else might still be moving through places, long after the people who once lived there are gone. So was it echoes from the past, or a spirit tied to the building's wartime history? You decide. Now in this next video, a woman named Genevieve hears something that catches her attention late in the evening. From another room, she can hear her young daughter talking, not just babbling or playing, but clearly speaking as if she's having a conversation with someone. Curious and a little confused, Genevieve calls out to her daughter, asking who she's talking to. A moment later, the little girl begins walking out of the dark room toward her mother. But as she steps out, something else appears in the footage. Watch closely.
Lorelei, come here. Lorelei, who are you playing with? What are you doing?
At first glance, many people's first reaction is probably the same, a shadow. But when viewers started looking closer, several details made the situation far more unsettling. For one thing, the room behind the child is almost completely dark. There's no obvious light source inside the room that could project a shadow that clearly across the space. Yet the dark figure seems to move independently from the girl herself. And if you slow the footage down, the shape doesn't match her body. The child is only wearing a diaper and a small t-shirt, but the figure behind her appears to have something hanging behind its legs, almost like a robe or long piece of fabric trailing downward. Even stranger is the way it moves. Instead of stretching or bending like a normal shadow would, when projected onto a wall or floor, the shape walks upright, moving through the middle of the room as if it has depth, almost like a three-dimensional figure rather than a flat shadow. Some viewers also pointed out something else that's hard to ignore. The dark figure appears to move before the child moves. Normally, a shadow reacts to the movement of the person creating it. It follows their motion, delayed only by fractions of a second. But in this case, the dark form seems to step forward slightly ahead of the girl. Another strange detail is where it appears in the frame. Shadows usually need a surface to be projected onto, a wall, a floor, or another object. But this figure seems to pass across open space in the middle of the room before fading away, almost like something briefly walking beside the child. If Genevieve's daughter really was talking to someone in that dark room, maybe the camera briefly captured who or what she was talking to. But I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. The following video revolves around something that, at first glance, sounds impossible. A phone that keeps ringing even though it has no power connected to it. The phone has been sitting inside the house for years, an old landline model that the family kept mostly as a decoration after it stopped working. But recently, it started doing something strange. Watch this.
This haunted phone rings without power.
Out of nowhere, the phone begins ringing. Naturally, the first reaction was to pick it up and see who might be calling. But every time someone answered it, there was nothing on the other end of the line. No voice, no static, no sound at all, just silence. And the strange part is that the phone isn't even connected to an active power source. When the clip was first shared, many viewers were quick to offer a simple explanation. Some said it might be a recurring electrical spark somewhere in the wiring of the house, or perhaps leftover electricity briefly triggering the ringer. Wanting to rule that out, the owners actually opened the phone to inspect it, but inside, there was nothing that could realistically hold power long enough to make the phone ring repeatedly. No battery, no capacitor, large enough to store energy for more than a few seconds. And this wasn't a modern device either. The phone had reportedly been in the house since the 1970s. That detail made the situation even more unsettling for some viewers. Older landline phones are mechanical in nature, meaning the ringing sound usually requires a proper electrical signal traveling through the phone line. Without that signal, the bell simply shouldn't ring, which led some people to speculate about another possibility. Ringing phones are sometimes linked to what investigators call phantom calls, strange events where disconnected phones ring or pick up signals that can't easily be traced. Of course, there are still many possible explanations, from unusual wiring in the walls to interference coming from nearby lines. But when a phone that shouldn't have power suddenly starts ringing in the middle of a quiet house, it's hard not to wonder who or what might be trying to call. And the strangest part? Even after all the attempts to answer it, no one has ever been on the other end of the line. Now in this next video, a man named Nate, someone already recognized for the strange activity that has been happening inside his home, records something unsettling while visiting a cemetery for work. At first it was faint, like something shifting or moving somewhere between the rows of graves. Since he knew he was the only person there at the time, the noises immediately put him on edge. Watch this.
I heard you over there. I heard you moving around. Let me know you're here. Close that door. Yes, this is your cemetery, I know. I'm just trying to keep it nice for you. Keep it maintained and looking nice, out of respect. I'm not trying to So I'm hearing shuffling now. It sounded like it was behind the cement mixer. Fast footsteps or something that was back there. Clearly you can see there's nothing back there. So, not sure what that was. Reach behind there. All right then. That, a rainy day up here. Gotta love it. swear, anytime the weather's like this, weird shit happens. So let's hope today is not one of those days. There's that thing. Holy f***. Yeah, that's just great. Hell no.
The area around him seems quiet, but the sounds continue, almost like someone slowly moving nearby while staying just out of sight. Nate tries to brush it off and continues filming, but the uneasy feeling never really leaves. Later in the video, after it gets darker, something even more disturbing appears. If you look closely beside the window, there's a faint figure standing there. It's difficult to make out clearly, but the shape is just visible enough to resemble someone watching from the side. And there's another detail many viewers didn't notice the first time. Earlier in the video, before the scene near the window, a shadowy figure can be seen standing outside in the background. The shape is dark and still, blending into the surroundings, which is probably why it's so easy to miss at first. After seeing the footage, many viewers started connecting it to the strange experiences Nate has already shared from his home. The unexplained scratches he sometimes wakes up with, objects being thrown across rooms, and sharp items suddenly moving without explanation. Because of that, some people began wondering if whatever has been causing those disturbances might not be limited to his house. Maybe it followed him, or worse, maybe it started somewhere else entirely. Cemeteries have long been associated with stories of restless spirits and lingering energy, places where the line between the living and the dead is often believed to be thinner than usual. So the question many people asked after watching the video was simple. Did Nate unknowingly bring something back with him from the cemetery that night? Or had it already been with him long before he ever stepped foot there? Again, I'll leave you to be the judge. The following clip was recorded by a girl on her 15th birthday. The house was full of relatives, music playing in the background, wrapping paper scattered across the floor as she laughed and unwrapped gift after gift. At one point, she picked up her phone to film a short video for her school friends, wanting to show them one of the dolls she had just received. But before she could even finish the video, something happened. Watch.
Bueno, aquí les presentamos a la muñeca de Bessie que se la regalaron a sus 15 años.
No manches, mira.
As she holds the doll up, its head slowly turns toward her. It rotates deliberately, stopping at an angle that makes it appear as though it's looking directly at her, but there's no visible mechanism inside it. No motor, no battery compartment, no switch. After seeing the video, her parents immediately took the doll away, but the panic wasn't just about the movement, it was about where it came from. The doll may have been purchased by a guest from a thrift store, meaning its history was completely unknown, and that's where the fear deepens. In paranormal lore, objects, especially dolls, are often described as vessels, not because they're inherently evil, but because their human-like features make them symbolic anchors. If something were attached to that doll, removing it from sight wouldn't necessarily remove the attachment itself. Some believe that once an object has been inside a home, whatever is connected to it can linger even after it's discarded. There are countless stories online of people throwing dolls away, only to find them returned to their porch, back in storage boxes, or replaced by unexplained activity inside the house. Others claim that after attempting to burn or destroy items like this, the disturbances escalated, lights flickering, doors opening at night, shadows appearing more frequently. If you were in that situation, if you saw that head turn on its own, what would you have done? Would you throw it away and hope that ends it? Or would you try to cleanse the house? I'd love to hear your thoughts. This next video was captured on a man's Ring camera late at night, and ever since reviewing the footage, he says he hasn't been able to look at his front yard the same way again. Watch.
Caught this on my Ring camera last night.
movement started from here, and what immediately stands out is the way it moves. It doesn't scatter or disperse like dust caught in infrared light. It holds its shape. The outline remains strangely consistent, almost compact, as it floats forward. Many viewers initially suggested it could be dust, pollen, or an insect passing close to the lens. But typical dust particles caught in night vision tend to expand, blur, or fragment as they move. This form doesn't behave that way. It travels in a controlled path, maintaining structure before slowly fading from view. But that's not the only unsettling detail. In the audio, a faint voice can be heard, like a little girl saying, "We're here." The footage was recorded around 3 a.m., and at this time, no kid should be outside playing. Investigators sometimes warn that entities may mimic children's voices to seem harmless, drawing attention or curiosity rather than fear. But the phrase itself is unsettling. We're here, not I'm here, plural. If it was a trick of the audio system, it's an incredibly eerie coincidence. If it was a child's voice from somewhere off camera, why does it sound so close to the microphone? And if it wasn't either of those things, then what exactly was floating across his yard that night? And if that voice truly said what it sounds like it said, then the question isn't just what was there, but how many? Now in this next clip, a man known online for his extensive doll collection captures something unsettling inside his daughter's bedroom, and it happens while she's asleep. He says it was a normal afternoon, his little girl was taking her nap, the house was quiet, and he was in the living room when he suddenly began hearing loud tapping sounds coming from her room. Listen closely.
What is that? See, it ain't my daughter because she's napping right there on the bed. Sounds like her closet door, though. Try not to wake her up. See, I don't know. No, it's not doing it. See, she's snapping right.
There was no one else in her room, and there was no visible movement near her crib or bed. And then, after a short while, something else happens.
Whatever it was not even waking her up. Nah. Come on, man, she's in here sleeping. I don't know how that didn't even wake her up. Come on, man. You need to get out of her room. Dude, I'm telling you, that thing was closed, right? Come on, man. Now why is she sleeping? Man, I am good on that. You need to get out of her room. Play somewhere else. What the man? You need to stay out of her room.
People familiar with this family already know that the man collects dolls, dozens of them, many antique, some with glass eyes, some displayed throughout the house. Over time, viewers have also claimed to spot strange shadows in the background of previous videos, objects slightly repositioned between cuts, and unexplained noises when no one else was home. Yet despite all of this, He continues to insist that whatever is in the house feels friendly, but that belief is what unsettles many viewers the most, because entities that begin subtly, tapping, knocking, light movement, don't always stay subtle. Some investigators warn that labeling something friendly too quickly can lower natural caution, especially when children are involved. So what exactly is sharing that house with them? I'd love to hear what you think about this one. The following video is about a man who claims the activity in his home became so disturbing that he eventually had to leave and stay at his girlfriend's house just to get a break from it. It started with small disruptions, unexplained bangs in the middle of the night, doors clicking shut when no one was near them, and lights that would suddenly shut off and remain off for several long, deliberate minutes before turning back on by themselves. He describes those moments as the worst part, standing in complete darkness at 4 a.m., waiting, feeling as if something was intentionally holding the room in silence before restoring the light. Then one morning, around 4 a.m., he woke up to the sound of laughter clear enough that his first instinct was to assume it was his TV, but when he checked, the television wasn't even on. Some viewers tried to analyze his situation, but to prove that it wasn't just the house, he decided to leave for a few days and stay at his girlfriend's place. He believed that if the disturbances stopped, then the house was the source. Watch.
So yeah, I've been staying at my girlfriend's house, but guess what, guys? You're not gonna fucking believe it. The ghosts have followed me here. And she's bugging the fuck out. Her mother is bugging the fuck out. And I'm bugging the fuck out. I mean, I guess I should have expected this, but let's just see what's been going on. Her door has been opening in the middle of the night. This closet door has been opening up in the middle of the night, and it's like hard as to open. We put shit in front of it so it wouldn't open. Hearing all types of knocks, hearing people run up and down the stairs. I mean, this house is 100 years old. And then to top it all off, my girlfriend goes in the shower today, and on the mirror it says, "We are here." And the writing is fucked up.
Look at that R. It's like look at that R. Why is it? Oh my god, I'm not doing this shit. I gotta move out. What the? I gotta move out.
Yeah, so that was on the mirror. I mean, it looks like anybody could have written that, but in person, the way it was written is mad weird. It's like squiggly lines. Her mom tried cleaning it with Windex and it wouldn't come off. And then after all that shit happens, her mom goes downstairs, and she's a very religious woman, and she has like this little, I guess, Bible, would you say it is, or what is it? I guess
It's a regular Bible.
Like a Bible.
I'm also sick. I don't remember this.
Yeah. So she goes downstairs and looks at it, and she left it closed. She goes down and looks at it, and it's open on the same exact page that her husband and her father died. The same exact day, May 22nd, it says it in the book.
What it says on the page is very like you were meant to hear it kind of thing. Like it was just like so weird timing and just like a weird page.
So we're thinking maybe her dad is trying to protect them from whatever I brought in their house. What do you guys think?
According to him, his girlfriend and her mother had never experienced anything unusual in that house before he arrived. To him, this isn't a haunted house situation. It's something attached to him, something that follows him wherever he goes. But there's another layer. He mentions that his girlfriend's house is over 100 years old. Some speculate that perhaps his presence didn't bring anything. Maybe it just triggered something already dormant there. In paranormal belief, certain individuals are thought to act as catalysts, unintentionally amplifying or awakening existing energy in a location. Still, what unsettled people most was when he started having dreams.
What's up? So, I've been MIA. I came back from Cancun, and yeah, I'm tan now. But some wild shit happened to me the other night, and my eyes are going a little bit. But I'm here at my girlfriend's house, and it was around, I swear to God, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
It was 3:30, like on the dot. It was like 3:20, 3:29, 3:20.
And I started, she said I was freaking out in my sleep.
I woke up to uncontrollably shaking right next to me, like literally freaking out, like not screaming, but like loud enough to wake me. And he was freaking out, shaking like a seizure almost.
Yeah, and I had no recollection of it at all. Nothing.
Said his name about 10 times, wouldn't wake up. I smacked him so hard across the face, and that's when he shot up.
And I woke up, and I told her I had this insane dream that I was in my house, and like, I don't know what happened. I thought I was sleeping in my room, and I started getting carried away by, looked like, I don't know, these dark shadow figures. They had like these big nails and teeth and crazy eyes, and I literally got picked up by them, and they were carrying me away. And then I told her that, and then I was like, yo, I have this crazy pain on my arm, and I shit you not, yo, this is legit, like this is real. Like Grayson here is like freaked out about it, and so am I. Wait till you see this shit, bro. Wait till you see this shit. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. As soon as she woke me up, I felt something like pain on my arm. And look at that. As hard as she scratches, no matter how hard she scratches, it will not go into my arm like that.
No, this is crazy.
Didn't I tell you though, when I woke up my arm was hurting?
Yeah, that's 3.
And it's literally 3 scratches. 2 long ones and a short one.
Vivid dreams involving attack, paralysis, or shadow entities are sometimes interpreted as spiritual oppression, especially when they are accompanied by physical sensations. To make matters worse, he began waking up with unexplained marks on his body, and this made many people believe whatever is in that house is after him. But I'll leave you to be the judge of this one. Now, in this next video, a man is simply filming an update for his followers. He explains that he's recently been uploading more political clips instead of his usual original content because he lost hours at his job and is currently searching for a new one. According to him, political topics are easier to gain traction with, and right now, views matter. While he was filming, this happened. Watch closely.
Alright guys, gonna try and make this one quick. This is just kind of update video. People have been wondering why I've been uploading so many news clips, so many political videos, and why I haven't been uploading any original content lately. As you should know, the American election just happened, and I was getting kind of one video. If you follow my channel, you would know it has 28,000 views. And I tried essentially recreating that and getting a lot of views, through those political videos. Unsuccessfully, might I add. Basically, where I'm getting at is, in order to fill in the lack of original videos, I've been doing these political clip videos. And the reasoning behind that is because here at home, things are a little difficult. I didn't lose my job, but I lost a lot of hours. And I'm looking for new employment, which is inhibiting me from creating new content. Makes it a lot easier for me if I can just, find a video clip of some politician or some news anchor saying something really stupid and get some views from that, than it is. It's easier for me to get views from that than it is, new content at the moment. So, just what I'm saying is bear with me. Yeah. It was weird. Got that on tape. Yeah, that. I know you guys aren't gonna believe that really just happened, but as you can see, there's no one in the room with me here. You know, I've kind of chose this room because it was the only room in my house without someone in here. Yeah, that was guys. You know, this isn't. It's a string, right? But that's just kind of an Ethernet cable. You could, you know, hey guys, that was pretty weird.
People often claim that activity can begin subtly, small disturbances, objects shifting, electronics malfunctioning, before escalating into something more noticeable. There's also the psychological layer. He mentions stress about work, finances, and change, and in certain beliefs, heightened emotional states are said to amplify unexplained phenomena, as if strong energy draws attention from something unseen. We can only hope this was a one-off situation and not the beginning of something deciding to make itself known. In the following clip, a group of paranormal investigators acquire 2 dolls from separate owners who both claimed the objects were responsible for disturbing activity inside their homes. According to the previous owners, one of the dolls had been linked to persistent knocking sounds that seemed to follow it from room to room. Lights would flicker whenever it was moved, and one family claimed they repeatedly found it repositioned in places they were certain they hadn't left it. The second doll, the one dressed in a red cloth, was reportedly associated with whispering sounds at night and sudden cold spots that formed specifically around the shelf where it sat. One owner even said her child refused to sleep in the same room with it after insisting the doll blinked. Rather than destroy them, the investigators decided to document everything carefully. They placed both dolls on a table in a controlled setting and began a spirit box session, asking direct questions to see if any responses would come through. That's when something happened. Watch.
Light it back up to red. Look. No! Bring that camera over here!
Oh god, he moved!
Still moving. Did you catch it moving?
I think I did, I don't know, I tried to run!
Again. Look! You see it move? I caught it moving. Yeah.
If you look closely at the doll with the red cloth, its head appears to shift slightly to the side. It is believed that objects that have been repeatedly associated with fear, attention, and belief can sometimes become what investigators call trigger objects, meaning they act as focal points for activity because of the emotional energy surrounding them. The red cloth itself also caught viewers' attention. In certain folklore traditions, red fabric is believed to either attract or contain spiritual energy, depending on how it's used. If the doll did move on its own, then the implication is clear. Whatever the previous owners were experiencing may not have been imagination. So if something truly is attached to it, then is bringing it into a new environment going to quiet it, or will it simply give it a new audience? Now in this next video, a man named Chris and his wife decided to install security cameras throughout their home after weeks of increasingly strange activity that neither of them could logically explain. It started subtly, small things out of place, the dog staring into corners of the room and growling at nothing visible, footsteps echoing faintly down the hallway after midnight. A few times, they heard what sounded like someone shifting their weight in the living room while they were upstairs. Once, Chris swears he heard a sigh directly behind him when no one was there. Eventually, They stopped brushing it off and installed cameras to see whether the disturbances had a visible source. One night, Chris was sitting in the living room with the dogs resting nearby when something happened that changed how he viewed the house entirely. Watch. In the footage, a chair begins to tilt backward as if someone were physically leaning into it, applying steady pressure with their weight. What makes it more unsettling is the dog's reaction and how they immediately become alert. And then there's the earlier activity, the footsteps, the sigh, the dogs reacting to empty space. When you layer those experiences together, the chair becomes harder to dismiss as coincidence. If someone unseen truly leaned back into that chair, then the implication is chilling. Chris may not have been alone in that living room, but until more updates are shared, this remains a mystery. The following clips were recorded by a worker doing his rounds inside what appears to be a large commercial supermarket, checking expiration dates in the deli and dairy section late at night, alone, under the hum of fluorescent lights. He'd been hearing strange noises for a while before he started filming, and he mentions it almost casually at first, like he's trying to convince himself there's a simple explanation. He walks the main aisles slowly, narrating his confusion, until he turns down a narrower aisle and finds a broken package lying on the floor in the middle of it, as if it had already fallen before he arrived. He's mid-sentence trying to figure out what happened when this happens. Watch.
Es bien raro porque estoy checando mis caducidades que me tocó aquí en Salchonería y Lácteos, y curiosamente escuché que algo se cayó. Realmente no alcancé a ver qué fue lo que se cayó, pero sí escuché que se cayó algo. Ya desde hace rato se andan escuchando ruidos pues extraños, y realmente se cayeron unas galletas, creo. No sé, es muy extraño todo esto. Se cayeron unas galletas.
A second box shoots out from the shelf entirely on its own, horizontal, forceful, not a slow slide, and the man barely finishes his thought before the shock hits him. What makes the reaction so hard to dismiss is how unscripted it feels. The camera jerks violently. The Spanish expletive that follows isn't practiced, it's instinctive. Skeptics will argue retail shelves can be unstable and product shifts happen, but the movement here reads more like a throw than a topple, and there was already one fallen item on the floor before this one came off. That's 2 incidents in the same aisle with no one else visible. The activity doesn't stay in one spot though. Later in the same night, in the same building, he pushes through a plastic curtain into the commercial kitchen. Heavy breathing audible, camera still shaking, because he's heard another noise from inside. Watch.
Otra vez están escuchando ruidos. Estaba aquí haciendo el recorrido, pero escuché un ruido aquí adentro. No sé si estaba crujiendo algo o no sé si... No sé. Qué raro. Ya no sé realmente qué hacer. Todo me extraña de este lado. Ya no sé qué hacer. Ya realmente no sé qué es lo que voy a hacer. Ya no entiendo ni qué es lo que está... ¿Qué cojones? No mames. Sácate a la verga, al chile, pinche mamada. Su puta madre. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Hay alguien ahí? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué se ve ahí al fondo? Oh, no mames. ¿Qué tal?
A loud metallic bang erupts with no visible source. Then the industrial oven's control panel, previously dark, activates suddenly with all its lights flashing red. He swears, he backs away, and then he notices something at the far end of a narrow dark gap behind the storage shelves. Before he can make sense of what he's looking at, a large cardboard box is shoved off the shelf directly toward him, and the camera cuts to black on his terrified yelp. Some people who've watched this think whatever is present in that building is becoming progressively more aggressive, escalating from something passive, objects already on the floor, to something actively directed at him. Others believe locations like this, with repetitive overnight labor and the kind of energy built up in industrial spaces over years, can attract or generate activity that responds to being witnessed. What's clear is that by the end of that second clip, he's no longer investigating the noises, he's running from them. The following clips were recorded by a woman and her young daughter, Sarah, inside their home late at night. And what makes this case particularly unsettling is that the activity didn't happen once and stop. It kept building. In the first clip, the woman is filming herself in the kitchen, visibly shaken, while Sarah sits on the counter behind her. She explains that just moments earlier, she heard knocking traveling down the hallway, followed by what sounded like quick footsteps, and Sarah heard them too, independently, without prompting. The woman points her phone toward a dark hallway near the staircase, speaking in a hushed voice about shadows she's seen there before, figures that seem to peek over the banister and disappear. You can feel the tension in the way she holds the camera, steady but uncertain. Then, just as they're trying to calm down, Sarah suddenly reacts to a new sound. Listen closely.
This is really weird. We just heard. What did you hear? Oh, you heard. I just heard knocking coming all the way down the hallway, and there's And she's like, is that Daddy? I said, no. I said, Daddy's taking his shower right now.
But I heard footsteps too.
You heard footsteps? Is that what it was? I heard that too. And our dog is right here. The cat is way back in the bedroom. But we just heard... Hold up. I just heard footsteps way down there. Like, sometimes I'll see shadows over there at that staircase. Like going up. Or like peeking over the banister. I don't know. That was like really weird. So.
We'll make our snack, but if you see anything, that's super weird, like if you see like a shadow or like somebody.
Oh, yeah, we don't see somebody.
Yeah.
That won't be good. Yeah. But no, we just heard, it sounded like quick walking. It was like really quick and it sounded like it came, I can't tell if that came from like upstairs where we've been hearing things or
downstairs.
Or like down at the
hallway.
entrance.
Yeah.
We keep.
I just heard something.
You heard something yet?
Yeah. It was like said like something 2 times.
Okay, what did it sound like?
It sounded like 2 times.
That's really weird.
It was like a zip, but it wasn't a zip. Like it wasn't like.
Did it sound like more like a whisper?
It whispered, and it just sounded like that.
Okay, let's make our snack and go to the bed. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm pretty scared.
The child describes hearing a whisper, a sound, twice, and the woman, clearly disturbed, confirms it sounded like a whisper, not a mechanical noise. What makes this hard to dismiss is that the two of them weren't feeding off each other's panic. Sarah heard something the woman didn't, described it independently, and her description held up under questioning. By the end, both of them admitted they were scared, and they decided to just make a snack and go to bed. That decision became its own kind of horror. In the second clip, the phone is set down on the counter, and the camera is static as they move through the kitchen together. Watch.
Sarah, did you say you wanted a snack? You said you wanted a snack? Okay.
Can I help you do your things?
You heard that?
Meow?
No, it sounded like that noise you heard earlier.
Maybe it's just like a rat. So
We don't have that sound. Let's go grab some other stuff. What else do you want?
I'll take strawberries with milk. Because I want milk because milk are healthy. I heard it.
We'll do a healthy snack together. Does that sound good?
Okay, I'm gonna get on the table because I'm pretty scared because if you heard that noise, you heard it because I heard that like earlier. I heard it earlier, so while I was sitting there, I heard it.
Yeah, you heard you said it sounded like a snake sound, but it sounded like somebody talking at the same time.
I don't know. It was a snake or a what?
But if you were talking, you don't know what?
So I don't know if it's a snake or a person talking or a rat. I don't.
Okay, that was really weird. My phone just completely glitched.
Yeah.
It froze.
Yeah. And
into one spot, and I was like, whoa, I got a weird. You got a shiver feeling? You got like a weird shiver vibe feeling that just like it feels. It's got like really cold in here.
Oh yeah.
That was really weird.
Yeah, like I don't know, was that like a snake, a person?
I don't know, but I mean, like that was like the phone glitched.
Yeah.
She's telling her story, and it was just.
Yeah, I'm telling my story.
Did I just see a flash? I don't know. It was really weird.
A loud, layered noise erupts from the direction of that dark hallway. Something that sounds like a deep growl, tangled with a metallic screech, aggressive enough to make the dog look up too. Then, almost immediately after Sarah tries to describe it, the phone violently glitches. The video freezes. The audio drops out completely, and when it recovers, the woman is standing there shaking, saying the room has suddenly gone ice cold. In paranormal research, a sudden temperature drop combined with electronic interference is one of the more frequently reported combinations, often associated with what investigators call an active presence drawing energy from its environment. Skeptics will point to a drafty house and a phone overheating, but the timing, the glitch happening in the exact moment the child is describing the sound, is the part that's genuinely difficult to explain away. So what exactly is in that hallway? Now in this next video, a man is alone at night inside what looks like an office break room or storage area, filming in complete darkness, and he's already terrified before anything even happens. He'd apparently been telling people something strange was going on in this room, and nobody believed him. So he went back in with his phone as his only light source, breathing heavy, scanning the space. Then the sound started. Watch.
Bạn hỏi mọi người không tin. Tụi như luôn. Đến đó. Phải luôn. I know.
First, there's a rustling in the dark, then a loud bang that sends him scrambling for the light switch. Once the room's lit up, he pans around and the camera settles on something sitting on top of the metal lockers, a large red bag of snacks. That's when it moves. No one near it, no vibration you can point to, no draft. It just scrapes forward several inches on its own, with an audible sound that makes him recoil immediately. He reaches out to touch it, almost like he needs to confirm it's real. Some viewers think an animal could explain the sounds in the dark, but that bag moving in a fully lit, clearly visible room is a lot harder to explain away. What do you think was in that room with him? In this next clip, an overnight caregiver had been noticing strange activity at the same time every night, consistent enough that they decided to act like they were asleep and secretly hide a phone to record what was happening. The caregiver works with a female patient who, according to their account, is completely unable to walk. That's the detail you need to hold on to before watching this. Listen closely. A woman steps partially into the doorway from the adjacent room, hunched forward at the waist, hands resting on her thighs, staring directly toward where the caregiver is lying. She doesn't move, not a flinch, not a shift in weight. According to the text, she stood in that exact position for over an hour. Many believe this could be a case of something else entirely occupying the patient's body. Others think it's sleepwalking, though that explanation does little to account for the posture. What would you do if you looked up and saw that? This next video was shared by a lady whose brother had just moved into a new place in Texas, and within what appears to be the first day or two of settling in, before the furniture was even properly arranged, things began moving on their own. The mattress was still wrapped in plastic, the dresser hadn't been placed yet, and according to the person filming, something was already making itself known inside that apartment. Watch.
This is fucking crazy.
The dresser slides across the laminate floor, slowly at first, a deliberate scraping drag that fills the room, then lurches forward a second time before the camera swings down to the mattress, where indentations press into the plastic wrap as the entire thing is pulled across the floor toward the brother sitting nearby. What makes this harder to dismiss is the texture of those indentations. Not a single pull, but the kind of uneven pressure you'd expect from something stepping and dragging at the same time. Some viewers immediately pointed to poltergeist activity, and that term carries real weight here. The word itself comes from the German poltern, meaning to rattle or make noise, and Geist, meaning spirit, a noisy ghost, historically associated with physical disturbance rather than visual apparition. What separates a poltergeist from other hauntings, according to many who study these cases, is the sense of intention behind the movement. Objects don't just fall, they're directed. Skeptics argue fishing line and an off-camera accomplice could explain both pieces of furniture, but the synchronized scraping audio and the progressive movement of the mattress give a lot of viewers pause. That same apartment appears to be the setting for the next clip, this time captured by a static security camera at around 9 a.m. on the 25th of March, 2026, as the man moves through the hallway, cleaning and organizing the space. The room is dim, the mattress still wrapped in plastic and propped against the wall, and something is already audible before anything visible happens. Listen closely. Beneath the ambient room tone, a constant layered stream of distorted whispers runs through nearly the entire clip. Some viewers claim to make out phrases, with one voice appearing to say, "Let us be free," before a loud bang slams from somewhere off camera, twice, and in the background doorway, a dark silhouette appears for just a moment, then disappears, followed seconds later by a faint, wispy shape drifting through the opposite entryway. The man doesn't seem to react. Either he didn't notice, or he's gotten used to it. The whispers themselves are strange because they don't behave like environmental audio. They layer and overlap in a way that some describe as electronic, almost processed, which has split viewers. Some believe the apartment is genuinely saturated with something, while others think the audio was added in post. But then there are those bangs, and that silhouette, and the fact that both clips exist from the same location. Whatever moved that furniture on the first day might not have stopped. The question is whether that presence is content to stay in the background, or whether those whispers were a warning of something still building. You tell me. Nick was at home with his girlfriend, casually recording a video of her talking about what she was watching on TV, for reasons that aren't even important to what happens next. The moment seems completely normal. Just the two of them, inside, relaxed, unaware of anything unusual. The camera stays pointed toward her, but in the background, behind them, a window faces outside into the dark.
Beth. Hello. What are you doing?
TV.
TV?
Yeah.
What are you watching?
99 bizarre things.
Huh. Well.
As the video plays back later, they notice something neither of them saw at the time. A faint, ghostly figure passes by the window, moving across the glass for only a second before vanishing out of view. It doesn't look like a reflection, and there was no one outside when they checked. The realization hits after the fact, turning an ordinary clip into something unsettling. Now they're left reviewing the footage over and over, unsure what they captured or what they're supposed to do about it, trying to figure out their options while knowing they can't explain what walked past that window. For a while, strange noises had been coming from the basement. Sounds that didn't match the usual creaks of a house settling. There was consistent knocking, along with what sounded like rummaging and movement, like something was shifting around down there when no one should have been. The noises went on long enough to make it impossible to ignore. Eventually, Smith grabbed his camera, deciding to document whatever was happening, and slowly opened the basement door.
There's been noises coming from this door all morning. I'll just sit here and record it for a minute.
The moment the door cracked open, every single sound stopped. No more knocking, no movement, just silence. He made his way down the stairs cautiously, step by step, the camera scanning the dark space at the bottom. But when he reached the basement floor, there was nothing there. No fallen items, no animals, no sign that anything had been moving at all, leaving only the memory of the noise and the uneasy feeling that whatever made it had stopped the second he came looking. This next clip brings back a woman from a previous Haunter video who previously found a camera with blood on it along the trail and later shared the disturbing forest footage of a black figure hiding, so new viewers understand the situation surrounding her. In this separate video, she's at home, filming herself in bed, visibly shaken and crying after being woken up suddenly in the night. She keeps repeating that it's in her house and that it's coming for her, her voice panicked and exhausted, like this isn't the first time it's happened.
It's the middle of the night and I just got woke up again. It's coming for me. It's in my house. The noises are coming from the kitchen. Listen. That's the noise that wakes me up every night. It gets me. It wakes me up in my dreams. It wakes me up from my sleep. I have to catch it on camera.
She turns the camera toward her bedroom door, and from deeper in the house, loud banging noises can be heard coming from the kitchen area, heavy enough to echo through the walls. She explains that the same sounds have been waking her up repeatedly at night, leaving her afraid to sleep. The combination of her fear, the unexplained noise, and her connection to the earlier footage makes the situation feel far more serious than just a random disturbance. Later in the same video, she leaves the bedroom and moves into the living room, right beside the kitchen, trying to steady her breathing while still recording. Her breaths are deep and shaky, like she's trying to calm herself enough to face whatever she thinks is there. The camera slowly turns toward the kitchen, and that's when she points it out.
You see that? There's a shadow in the corner of the kitchen. I know I'm not seeing things. I know I'm not. I know you guys saw that. I'm going back out there.
A dark, shadow-like figure can be seen standing inside the kitchen area, not moving, just present. She whispers that it's there, her voice trembling but certain, and the shape appears to match the same dark figure seen earlier in the forest footage. It doesn't approach or react, just remains in place, which somehow makes it feel worse. She insists she isn't imagining it, staying close enough to film it clearly, convinced the presence from before has somehow followed her home. Later, she's back in bed again, filming herself through tears, her face fed up and exhausted like she hasn't slept properly in days. She flips the camera around and asks viewers if they can hear it too. At first, it's faint, but there are clear speaking noises somewhere in the house, low and distant, but unmistakably voice-like.
Do you guys hear that? No one is home. My sister left for the whole weekend. Who is that? Who is that in my house?
She slowly leaves the bedroom and walks into the main living space, the camera shaking slightly in her hands. The sounds become clearer there, taking on a womanly tone, saying strange, unclear things that echo through the room. What makes it worse is the situation she keeps repeating. She is completely alone in the house. No TV is on, no one else is there, yet the voice continues, filling the space while she stands there recording, crying, and trying to understand who or what is speaking. As the video continues, she explains through a state of deep distress that everything has been getting worse, and that she hasn't told anyone around her because she's afraid of how it sounds. Her voice is tired, defeated, like she's been carrying this alone for too long. Then something happens that completely breaks her composure.
It's getting worse, and I haven't been able to tell anyone or go anywhere because I don't have anywhere to go, and I don't have anyone who's believing me. At first, it was my sister, but now I hear my mom. And she doesn't live here. She lives on the other side of the country, and I just called her, and she's in her own home. She's not here right now. So who is that? I've gone through the whole entire apartment. There is no one else here but me. No one else.
From somewhere in the house, she hears a voice calling out hello, and she freezes. She says it sounds exactly like her mum. The problem is, her mum is at her own home, nowhere near the house. The familiarity of the voice makes it more disturbing than anything else so far, because it's not just a random sound, it's personal, precise, and impossible to explain, leaving her standing there in shock, trying to process how something could copy someone she knows so closely. It simply makes no sense. At this point, she seems more determined than before, still scared, but trying to confront whatever is happening. There's knocking again, this time coming directly from her bedroom door. It's slow and deliberate, not random house noise, but spaced knocks that sound intentional. She calls out, asking who it is and what it wants, her voice shaky, but louder than before.
It's back again. It's back again tonight. Who is it? What do you want? I know you guys think it's a prank or something, but it's not. It's not. Something else is here.
In response, the door handle shifts and the door creaks open on its own, inch by inch, slow enough to make every second feel stretched out. She forces herself to get up and walk toward it, camera still recording, and looks behind the door and into the hallway. Nothing is there, no movement, no person, no explanation, but somehow that makes it worse, because now it's not just making sounds or showing shapes, it's physically moving parts of the house, interacting with her space while remaining completely unseen. In one last clip from the woman, she is seen leaving her apartment building and heading toward the car park, still recording as if she doesn't feel safe moving alone anymore. The area is dim, lit only by scattered lights, and she keeps scanning around as she walks. Then she zooms in toward her car, and that's when viewers notice it.
I was just walking out of my apartment. And look. You see that? You see that shadow? It's following me.
Behind the vehicle, partially obscured by shadow, the same dark figure shape appears to be standing there, still and silent, matching the form seen in the forest and inside her home. It doesn't move, but its presence alone is enough to make the moment feel heavy. Whether all of this is a coincidence caused by lighting and angles, or something far more real, no one can say for sure. What I do know is you should subscribe for more videos like this. The Midwest ghost hunter is back again, continuing his exploration of the same abandoned factory where he's been documenting some seriously unnerving encounters. For anyone new, he's a solo investigator who's been visiting this building for weeks now, and every single time the activity seems to ramp up even more. This latest clip only adds to the mystery.
Are you working? Dude, it sounded like footsteps up there. Like hard, heavy footsteps. Oh my God. My heart is racing. But as you can see, there is no one up there. Is it alright if I come up there? Am I authorized? Could you make a noise to let me know? Shoot, well, I'm coming up anyway. Hope you don't mind. Oh gosh, these stairs are steep. Oh. Oh, geez. All right, I think I'm gonna try a spirit box session up here. See if I can
communicate with any of the workers. If there's anybody up here, I got a device here that you can speak through. Could you speak to me? Damn, it is dark up here, guys. This is what I'm seeing, just to show you. Pitch black. And I gotta carry this spirit box and this camera, so I ain't got a light. Whoa. That was a man's voice right there. Are you saying your name? Who are you? Whoa.
As he's walking through one of the upper levels, he suddenly hears disembodied footsteps climbing the metal stairs ahead of him. The sound is loud, clear, and paced just like a person would walk, but there's nobody on the upper section at all. He stands at the bottom listening, calling out and asking if he's allowed to come up, and the footsteps immediately stop. He asks whatever's there to make another noise to confirm he is allowed up, but the entire building goes silent. Since he doesn't get an answer, he decides to go up anyway, climbing the metal steps with his night vision helping. At the top, he pulls out his spirit box, asking directly for a sign that something is actually with him. After a few bursts of static, a voice comes through clearly saying, "Eddie," followed by another message that sounds like they lost their balance into Ian's equipment, almost like someone was standing right next to him, explaining what happened. Between the footsteps, the direct responses, and the eerily personal messages, this might be one of the most convincing moments he's ever captured in that factory. This next video was recorded by Josh, another paranormal investigator, and his team, who spent 2 nights investigating the childhood church of Jim Jones in Lynn, a quiet town that still carries the weight of a dark and disturbing legacy. Long before he became the infamous leader of the People's Temple, Jim Jones attended this very church as a boy, walking its halls, sitting in its pews, and developing the beliefs that would later influence one of the most tragic cult events in history. What makes this location especially unsettling is the idea that everything started higher. The team, consisting of 3 brothers, Josh, Rocky, and Sean, entered the church hoping to understand why it is considered haunted and whether something connected to Jim Jones still lingered there.
Coffin. Where's the coffin at? Dude, when you look out to the darkness, you just picture, it feels like 100 people out in the darkness just staring at you. It is so freaking cold down here. Who is the man that stays down here?
Slam.
Slam. I dare you to slam something.
Why?
Because I want to hear you. If you do loud stuff, that lets me know you're in here.
Purgatory.
Purgatory. Are you stuck in purgatory? You remember Jim Jones being here at this church?
Do not.
You don't? We know Jim Jones came here for many years as a child, then he moved on and became a reverend at different churches. And then they did some very bad things.
Jim.
Whoa! Holy. Okay, that was loud. Holy crap. Okay, I'm gonna move back here. something so freaking loud.
As they moved deeper into the church, with over 1,000 people watching the investigation live, something was caught on camera. Watch.
I feel like if we're going to catch something, it's going to be in the basement.
Well, I think we need to go up to the attic. Or it'd be better if I just filmed the screen. Like if they're just watching the screen, then I won't need this light on. What do you think?
Within seconds, viewers watching the live stream began flooding the chat with warnings, pointing out a strange figure that appeared in the stairwell. What makes this moment so disturbing is that in earlier footage, the stairwell was completely empty. Nothing was there that could explain the sudden appearance of this figure. So is it possible that something connected to Jim Jones still exists there? Some paranormal researchers believe that spirits are often drawn to places that shaped them the most, locations tied to their identity, their emotions, and their transformation. This church wasn't just a random building in his life. It was where his path began, where his beliefs were formed, and where he first began developing the influence he would later have over so many people. For now, this remains a mystery. Now, in this next video, some explorers decided to investigate an abandoned military hangar that had been active from World War II all the way through the 1990s, a place that once held aircraft, personnel, and decades of military operations, but had since been left to decay in silence. Buildings like this often carry layers of history, and while they expected to find dust, rust, and forgotten equipment, they did not expect to find something watching them. From the moment they stepped inside, they began hearing strange noises echoing through the massive, empty structure. At first, they tried to rationalize it, blaming it on the wind forcing its way through broken panels or loose metal shifting under its own weight. Then, this happened. Watch.
Shit, man. Did even get through here? Look at this fucking. Holy shit, bro! There's no way. Whatever that. Listen. That's just thunder. That's thunder, but what was that? There's no way I can't make it. There's no.
In the footage, a strange figure can be seen watching them from a distance. But when they reached the exact spot where the figure had been standing, there was nothing. No person, no animal, and no place for someone to hide or escape in that short amount of time. Some believe this could be what investigators call a shadow person, entities often reported in abandoned locations, especially places tied to intense emotional energy, trauma, or prolonged human activity. Others believe this could have been the spirit of someone who once worked there, possibly a soldier or personnel who spent years inside those walls, whose presence never truly left, continuing to patrol the same grounds long after the base was abandoned. The way this figure remained at a distance, concealed in shadow, and vanished the moment they approached, makes some wonder if they were being watched the entire time. In the following video, a man shares the unusual and deeply unsettling thing that's been happening inside his apartment. Something he had tried to explain to friends and family for months, but no one truly believed him. According to him, the activity didn't start immediately after he moved in. At first, the apartment felt normal, quiet, uneventful, but that slowly began to change after he learned something disturbing about the person who had lived there before him. He was told that the previous tenant had lived alone for many years, rarely had visitors, and eventually passed away inside the apartment. The details were unclear, but neighbors said it took days before anyone realized he was gone, and ever since then, some residents claimed the apartment never felt the same. At the time, he didn't think much of it, until small things started happening. Coins he clearly remembered placing in one spot would appear somewhere else. Jars would slightly shift positions, and sometimes he would hear faint metallic tapping sounds late at night, like something lightly striking glass. When he told people, they called him crazy. So one day, he decided to set up his camera, hoping to finally prove that something was happening. Watch.
Hey guys, this coin, amazing. People aren't believing what's happening in this house. I've left this all night, and all I've heard is it rattling inside. Now, I want you to witness what I'm going through here, because maybe if you just see for yourself, innit? This is what I'm dealing with. Are you angry because you're dead? What are you angry about? Is that it? Why are you with me? Why are you around me? What do you want? Want the glass over? Is that it? I'm doing it all night, come on. Take a break. What do you want? Guys, are you seeing it? Whoa. How is that possible? Come on, it's in a jar. At least they didn't lie to me. Cheers for that. Thank you. I am shit.
Some believe this could be the former tenant attempting to communicate, using the coin as a way to show his presence, especially since spirits are often said to manipulate small objects that require less energy. Coins, in particular, are commonly reported in paranormal encounters, sometimes seen as a symbolic attempt to get attention, almost like knocking, but in a way that cannot be mistaken for coincidence. Others believe it could be something more territorial, something that does not recognize the man as the rightful occupant. If the previous tenant spent years living there alone, forming a deep attachment to the space, some theories suggest his spirit may still see the apartment as his, reacting with agitation to the presence of someone new. But there is an even darker possibility. Paranormal researchers warn that entities capable of moving objects with that level of force may not be harmless at all. What begins with small manipulations, coins, jars, subtle disturbances can sometimes escalate, becoming more aggressive over time, especially if whatever is present grows stronger or more aware of the person living there. The violent nature of the coin's movement, the persistence, the intensity, makes some wonder if this wasn't simply an attempt to communicate, but a warning. Until more updates are shared, this unsettling case remains unsolved. This next video was recorded just a few days after Christmas, a time usually filled with warmth, celebration, and families enjoying the quiet calm that follows the holidays. On this particular day, the parents were out, leaving the kids home alone, something they were already used to. The house was peaceful, quiet in the way it normally is after the excitement of Christmas morning has passed. Wrapping papers cleared away, decorations still hanging, and new gifts settling into their places around the home. But at some point, the eldest son began hearing a strange sound coming from the kitchen. Confused and uneasy, he walked toward the kitchen to see what was causing it, and what he found made him immediately call his siblings to come and look. Watch.
Alright, you guys gotta see this cabinet. It's been moving, and oh my, you see? It's been moving open and shut by itself for 30 minutes now.
Holy shit, do you see that?
Dude, see, that's stripped down, man. I don't even know if I want to stay the night here tonight. Hey, Marco, I don't think I'm staying the night, dog.
And I don't think I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna stay up until that stops.
No visible cause, and no drafts strong enough to explain that kind of repeated movement. What makes this even more unsettling is that, according to the family, they had never experienced anything strange in the house before this day, which is why many people immediately connected this incident to the timing, the Christmas season itself. Across many cultures and paranormal beliefs, the holiday season is thought to be a time when the boundary between the living and the dead becomes thinner, a time filled with emotional energy, memory, tradition, and reflection. Some believe this energy can attract spirits, especially those connected to family, longing, or unfinished presents. Others say spirits may be drawn to homes during this season simply because of the warmth, the light, and the life inside. But it's also possible that something was unknowingly brought into the home during the holidays, like an old gift, a second-hand decoration, or an antique item. Objects can sometimes carry attachments, especially items with unknown histories. Something as simple as a thrifted ornament, an old toy, or even furniture could potentially bring more than memories with it. But what do you think? Now, this next clip was captured around 3 a.m., a time long associated with unexplained activity, when a man suddenly woke up after hearing strange noises coming from outside his home. At first, the sounds were faint and unclear, like distant movement or low murmuring that didn't belong to anything familiar. Still half asleep, but deeply unsettled, he turned his attention toward the window, trying to figure out what could possibly be making those sounds at that hour. But when he looked outside, it wasn't just the noises that caught his attention. He saw something else. Watch closely.
Estoy escuchando ruidos afuera. Son 3:30 de la mañana. Voy a no sé si sale. Ahí está, hija de puta, de vuelta. Es ella. Yo no te voy a tener miedo. Hoy no te tengo miedo. Vas a ver, no tengo miedo. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. ¿Dónde estás?
A figure in white passes directly by his window. Whether this was a real person or something else entirely, both possibilities are deeply unsettling. Because if it was a person, that raises even more disturbing questions. Why would someone be silently walking around his property at 3 a.m.? Why dressed in white? And why disappear so quickly without leaving any trace? But what makes this encounter even more disturbing is that this wasn't the first time. According to him, there had been other nights when he saw figures outside, sometimes dressed in black, appearing briefly and then vanishing. And on certain occasions, the entire neighborhood would erupt with the sound of dogs barking all at once, as if reacting to something moving among them that humans couldn't fully see. Interestingly, there were also nights when the dogs didn't bark at all. So until more footage emerges, this disturbing encounter remains a mystery. In the following video is about a man named Aaron, whose life changed after he received terrible news from the police about the neighbor living directly beneath him. And if you've been following Aaron's story, you already know his apartment hasn't felt normal for a very long time. In the previous videos we shared, he attempted a spiritual cleansing ritual that ended badly, and many people questioned whether he had done it correctly, which is why this time he decided to try again, hoping to finally free his home from whatever seemed to be lingering there. For those unfamiliar with Aaron's story, everything began with a smell. For weeks he complained about a foul stench rising through his apartment floors, a thick, sickening odor that no amount of cleaning, ventilation, or searching could explain. And eventually, the horrifying truth was revealed. His neighbor had passed away inside his apartment, and his body had remained there undiscovered for weeks. By the time authorities found him, the damage had already been done. The hallway was sanitized, the apartment sealed, and on the surface, everything appeared resolved. But inside Aaron's apartment, things only got worse. Desperate for peace, Aaron decided to perform another cleansing ritual. Watch.
I'll be doing the red dragon blood sage to help me get rid of the spirit I have here. But first, I'm going to be placing this egg here in the center of the room. I'll place it right there. Come back. Okay. Here we go. So if there's a demon in here, you are not welcome. You have to leave. You're not welcome. Still smoking. It's barely lit. You know, people don't think that you're real. People actually think that you don't exist, but I want to show them. So show yourself. Don't be scared. Show yourself. Come out. Okay. Something's definitely showing itself. But it's okay because I got the sage on this. It's barely lit, but it's okay. It's still lit. I'm okay. I'm kind of scared to go around this corner. See. Here we go. Okay. Actually gonna turn on this light. Right now I kinda just wanna turn around. Okay. Well, if you're here, you have to leave. Or do something to this egg. Do something to this egg. Move it. Maybe it left out the window or something. Okay, let's go do the egg so I can leave my apartment. Okay, here's the egg. Nothing wrong with the egg, see? It's regular egg. First off, let me show you my hand. There's nothing on my hand. Nothing. I want to get out of here. Okay, here you go. And again. I don't know why.
According to Aaron, instead of things improving, the sage seemed to make the activity worse, and most people saw it coming. In many spiritual traditions, eggs are believed to absorb negative energy when used in cleansing rituals, acting as a vessel that pulls harmful forces away from a person or environment. But there is one rule that practitioners strongly emphasize. Once the egg absorbs that energy, it must never be opened inside the home. It must be buried outside, far from where you live, because burying it symbolically traps whatever it has absorbed within the earth, sealing it away and preventing it from returning. But Aaron cracked the egg inside his apartment, and according to certain beliefs, that single mistake may have undone everything. So for now, we can only hope things get better. The following video was recorded by a man in Virginia who'd been noticing strange things happening inside his shed. Strange enough that he set up a Ring security camera in there to try to catch something on film. The shed itself is cluttered with tools, old boxes, and years of accumulated junk. The kind of space that's easy to ignore until it starts ignoring you back. The camera is mounted high in a corner, looking down over the whole room, and on the afternoon of April 19th of 2026, at around 4:26 p.m., nobody is inside. Nobody visible, anyway. A door at the back of the room is closed, the floor is still, and then it isn't. Watch.
Man, look at this.
What unfolds over the next few minutes is one of the densest collections of unexplained activity caught on a single static camera in recent memory. A door swinging open on its own, loud thuds and heavy dragging sounds filling the room with no visible source. A ball rolling out of the open doorway and stopping dead. A wooden shelf crashing to the floor, and then, most disturbingly, being lifted back up and out of frame against gravity. And then there's the music. Old-fashioned, tinny, with a female vocalist, faint at first, then growing steadily louder, as though something is physically walking it closer to the camera's microphone, right up until a sharp pop is heard, and something lets out a high-pitched cry of pain. When the man Yeed enters the shed to investigate, you can hear how shaken he is, breathing heavy, voice cracking, yelling into the dark attic above him, and getting nothing back. What he finds up there doesn't answer anything. Broken nameplates reading Mr. and Mrs. Ronald J. with the surnames snapped clean off, a shattered Rolex-style watch, shot glasses etched with the logo of Sweetbriar College, a women's-only institution here in Virginia, all of it belonging to someone else, someone whose connection to this shed he can't explain. Many viewers think what's captured here is classic poltergeist behavior, not a haunting tied to a location so much as an intelligence that interacts with physical objects, creates sound, and seems capable of responding to the presence of a camera. Poltergeist activity in paranormal research is often described as kinetic, loud, and escalating, the kind of presence that doesn't hide but performs. Others think the objects found in the attic matter more than the activity itself, that whoever Ronald J. was, something tied to him, or to whoever he shared that nameplate with, hasn't fully left the space. The shelf being lifted back up is the detail that's hardest to walk away from. Things fall, that's physics, but whatever pulled that shelf back up wasn't working with gravity, it was working against it. So what exactly is living in that shed with him, and does it know he's looking? Now, in this next clip, a group of friends decide to explore the darker parts of the building they're staying in at 4:15 in the morning. What starts as a casual, laughing walkthrough of a dark office space slowly shifts into something far more unsettling. The man filming leads his two friends through room after room, trying locked doors, peering into a cluttered storage area, and eventually unlatching a back door that opens into complete darkness outside. The mood is still light. They're joking, whispering, shining a phone flashlight into corners until they saw something terrifying. Watch.
Oh, my pitu, my pitu, my pitu, my pitu, my pagi. My pagi, my pitu, mari kita tengok, mari kita tengok. Pukul apa, Pi? Pukul apa, Pi? Nak guguk, babi. Kau pukul apa? Macam ni, Pi. Macam ada orang tu. Allah, lampu pula tutup. Ya, babi tu. Bodoh. Ni tinggal aku pun bodoh. Macam babi tinggal aku. Lampu tutup pula. Ruang ketang, ruang gila. Bodoh. Bimbang. Biar. Tak pasal pipi. Biar. Ya. Dok orang tu. Dok sini gelak dia. Allah Akbar. Bodoh. Ya Allah. Bodoh. Babi gua ya Allah. Allahu Akbar.
If you look closely, there's a figure, and according to the guys, it's a pokong. Near the edge of the darkness, a pale figure can briefly be seen motionless in the background. The group immediately reacts, and according to the men filming, what they saw was a pokong, a ghost from Indonesian and Malay folklore, believed to be the spirit of a dead person trapped inside their burial shroud. In traditional beliefs, the body of the deceased is wrapped tightly in white cloth before burial, with bindings around the head, neck, and feet. Legends claim that if the soul is unable to move on, the spirit may return in the same wrapped form, unable to walk normally, and often described as hopping or appearing stiff and motionless in dark places. Reports of pokong sightings are especially common near abandoned buildings, graveyards, and isolated roads late at night. Some viewers believe the figure was simply a person standing outside in the darkness. Others are convinced the reaction from the group was too immediate and genuine to be staged. But for those familiar with the legend of the pokong, the clip taps into a fear that has existed for generations.